So, a couple hours have passed since the last video. Well, I mean, a little more than a couple. Probably like 7 hours, probably. But I was planning on making this video anyways. So, right. I was supposed to make this video. This was supposed to be the last video, but the last video was something else that I went on a tangent about. But anyways, for this one, I wanted to talk about being antisocial and introverted, right? And like how, I mean, probably like my experience mostly, being introverted and antisocial. I'll just say antisocial for the remainder, like as an umbrella term for being introverted, antisocial. You know, things where you just like to be alone, or you don't really like talking to people. You're kind of anxious talking to people. Like, you know, I just use antisocial as an umbrella term. So for me, being antisocial actually wasn't that bad up until junior year of high school. Well, I mean, it still wasn't that bad, but that's kind of when I realized that this is probably not something that should last forever. And you probably wouldn't even notice if you've been watching my videos since I started uploading, because on camera, like, I'm a lot more comfortable because it's just me. Well, I'm talking to you guys, but nobody else is here, so I'm just talking to the camera. So, yeah, up until junior year, which was when I moved from home to a new place, I moved to a new school as well. Before that, I was still antisocial, but I went to schools where it was like they weren't complete public schools. I went to a private school, and then I went to a charter school. For high school, I was in a charter school for 9th and 10th grade. For middle school, I was in a private school. Also, I was also online during COVID. And elementary, it was a public school, but it wasn't a big one. It was just regular elementary school. So I made friends there. But for middle school and high school, well, my first 2 years of high school and middle school, I made friends because the classes weren't that big. Like, it wasn't a lot of people, and the people there were also really friendly. So I made friends by them. They became my friends, and then we became friends. So they approached me. I've never been the type of person to approach someone and ask them to be my friend, except this one time that I literally just went up to someone. It was so weird. I went up to him and I was like, "Hey, do you want to be my best friend? Because my best friend is leaving, so you could be my new best friend." He was like, "Okay." It was really weird, but we ended up being friends. But in junior year, which was when I moved, I went to like a public school, like a regular public school, and there I didn't talk to anybody. Well, I mean, I talked to like a couple people, but I didn't really like become friends with anyone, and I didn't really think too much of it. It's like I didn't want to talk to anybody, but you start to realize, like, when when teachers tell you to pair up with someone, you're just sitting there like, I can do it myself, until they force you to do it with someone. But it's like when you don't have someone to like choose to be your partner, you kind of just have to sit there. I mean, for me, I wasn't embarrassed. I know some people get embarrassed from it. I don't really get embarrassed. I never got embarrassed from it. I was just like, it's kind of sad, huh? But I wasn't embarrassed. But I didn't really talk to anybody. So I realized that, wow, I really am antisocial. Like, I don't talk to anyone. I would sit alone at lunch, and I would I ran out of storage. So I would sit alone in class, and I would sit alone at lunch, and you know, you kind of just sit there and you're like, you kind of just want friends. but for me, I kind of just went through it, and then I graduated, and then I didn't have anything else to do. I didn't go to college. I just wasn't doing anything, you know. All my friends were back in Florida, and I wasn't there, so, you know, I was just going through the motions. Then I moved, and this is where I'm going to talk about, like, how I dealt with it, like, as in getting that, I ran out of storage again, and I also realized how loud my fan was. But like I was saying, this part is how I dealt with it and got through it. So my advice to people who are antisocial or introverted and stuff, and don't like to talk to people, is to force yourself to. And I know it's like, obviously do it, just like, it's easy to say just do it, but like Shia LaBeouf, just do it. But like, I mean to really force yourself to do it. Like, put yourself in a position where if you don't, there's consequences. For example, and this is an example that I would really advise: get a job where you have to socialize, or you have to talk to people, or you have to greet people and stuff. I don't know, most jobs, like especially customer service, are like that, but get one that literally forces you to do it. The job that I got now, I am forced to talk to people. Like, I have to. It's part of my job, and if I don't, there's probably consequences. I don't know yet, but I've been doing pretty good, I think. But when you do that, you get used to it. You get better at it. As a matter of fact, and I noticed that because when I started this job, they literally would tell me, like, you gotta speak up, like, you're real quiet. Lately, I've been noticing I literally talk to people more. Like, before, I would say hi, and I would say hi, and they wouldn't even be able to hear me. And then I would say, hi, how are you? They'd be like, I'm doing good. And they'd be like, okay. Then I started saying, hi, how are you? Did you find everything? And then they say something, and then we start a conversation. So you get used to it, and then you also get better at it, right? And it gets to a point where it's a habit. Now you're not just like doing it because like you have to. You start to get into a habit of doing it. Like, I noticed when I would go to places that's not work, I would have a habit of literally talking to people because it was just ingrained in my like social skills now, because it's something that I was forced to learn, that I had to learn. So my advice is to just throw yourself in there, throw yourself into the pool, jump in. You're gonna have to do it. I know exposure therapy is a thing. You're really gonna have to. And I know it's easier said than done, but trust me, it can be done. It might be hard, but it can be done. So yeah, like, if you don't have friends, if you don't talk to people, just try. Even if you fail, just try. Try to talk to people. And I'm saying this now, and I still don't have any friends here, but like, I'm getting better at like talking to people and being comfortable with that. So it's not something that's just way heavy on you. It should be something that you should just realize and recognize as something you can improve, right? It's not a flaw, it's a character trait that you just need to improve, right? So don't dwell in your like disparity or your introversion. Don't think to yourself, why am I like this? Because I used to do that, and sometimes I do, but just think to yourself, okay, I can improve. I need to improve. How can I improve? And then you try, right? And again, I know it's easier said than done, but you will have to do it in order to get through it. Put that on a shirt. Don't put it on the shirt. But yeah, so being introvert for me was it was easy in the beginning, but then it started to catch up to me, right? And so I don't really talk to many people right now. I talk to like 3 people, and they're all family. But you can, sorry, it's hot in here. I just turned my fan off because it was super loud. But yeah, I think I said like the same thing 300 times already. But yeah, that's just my take on antisocial and introversion. Just jump into the deep end. Embarrass yourself. You have to learn how to be embarrassed. You have to learn how to be okay with uncomfortability. There was a quote by Khalil Gibran that I heard from the Boondocks, and it's, your pain is the breaking of the shell that encloses your understanding, which basically means that you have to feel pain in order to grow. You have to get through the negative in order to get to the positive. And I think that also can relate to being comfortable with uncomfortability. You have to be uncomfortable with uncomfortability. It's the only way to grow. The only way to get past hardships and get past flaws. Again, being antisocial and being introverted, it's not a flaw. It's just something you improve on. But The only way to get through stuff like that is just to get through it. You can't go around it. You can't go over it. You can't avoid it. You have to just go through it. And you have to be okay with having to go through it. And and in order to do that, you have to understand that it's okay. It will be okay. Because if you start doubting yourself, if you start having these thoughts and overthinking and everything, which is something that I did, you're literally gonna be stuck. You will be stuck, right? So, moral of the story is, or not story, but moral of this like video is to force yourself to discomfort. And this could be for anything. Specifically, I'm talking about introversion and antisocial and like everything that's under that umbrella term. Stuff where you don't like talking to people, where you're anxious, anxiety, and all that. Like me, I had, well, I mean, I say had, but I don't know if, because I haven't done a presentation in a while, but when I was in school and I had to do presentations, I had really bad anxiety, like really bad. But you wouldn't notice. I mean, you might if you knew me, but like I would literally choke on words. I would be talking and I'll be talking, and then I'll do something like that. I would literally choke on my words, and my hands would be shaking, and I would be cold, but I would do it, right? So I felt the anxiety and everything, but you couldn't see it. My cousin, we did like a group interview at the job that I'm working. She told me that she was like, you speak very well. And to me, that whole time I was speaking, I felt like so nervous, and I was like, what's the word when you like disassociate? I think that's what's called. Where you like looking through a body, but you're looking through the eyes of someone else. Like that's what I felt like. I was watching myself speak, and I was so uncomfortable. But you gotta do it in order to understand how it's supposed to feel and how it's not supposed to feel. And then you gotta learn how to get from how it's not supposed to feel to how it is supposed to feel, right? So you have to force yourself to discomfort in order to grow. And again, this can be for anything, but it's especially for getting past anxiety and anti-sociality, is that a word? And introversion, right? And obviously it's not just gonna get you through it. Like, I know anxiety is like a real thing, and it's not something that you could just like, oh, get over it. Like, obviously not. Like, that's a dumb thing to say, to just get over it when you have stuff that you have to deal with. But don't think of it as something you have to get over. Think of it as something you have to work on, something you have to improve, right? It's not a hindrance. It's a characteristic that's there for you to teach yourself how to self-improve. And once you learn how to self-improve, you can do anything. You can self-improve your body. You can self-improve your mind. Self-improvement is great. Don't go too far, because there's always going to be extremes, right? But just enough where you're strong-minded, and and I know there are things that people deal with that you can't just get over, but you got to learn, for some stuff, you got to learn healthy coping mechanisms, and you got to learn the right way to express feelings and stuff. So don't get into a mindset where you're like, I'm doing this wrong, like I don't know what to do. Just get in a mindset where you're like, okay, I don't know what to do, but I can learn, I can teach myself, and I'm okay with messing up. You have to be okay with messing up. You have to be okay with being uncomfortable. You have to be okay with the path to improvement. So back to the main point. Being antisocial it's kind of hard if you think about it too long, but it's something you can improve, right? I know I've been improving in it. You can too, right? I think that's about it. I really hope that you didn't feel like this video was just me saying the same thing over and over again. That might have been what I was doing. I'm really sorry if I did, but hopefully, like what I said, can just like help you understand, at least help you understand where I'm coming from, or at least help you understand my feeling about being antisocial. But yeah, Let me grab it. That's gonna be about it. Please ignore my dirty room again, once again. But yeah, peace and love. Bye.